Right, so orientation day 1. Now this was the day that we had to go to the Commons for like a housing welcome session, and they tried to make it like really fun, and yeah, like there isn't really much we can say about this. Like, we had to go upstairs to start off with. That's where they did immigration with us, and they checked our passport, our new I-94 that they gave us, because our visa is now electronic, so we don't need the I-94 card that they send us. So yeah, they had to check our passport, our I-94 and our DS 2019 to check that that was all correct and make sure that everything was fine. Then once that was done, we went on lunch. So because we were already at the Commons, we decided to go to Subway for lunch. Was that day? Yeah, no, it definitely was that day. Yeah, we decided to go to the Premium Outlets, which has got a food court over there. So went there for lunch, and then there's also a Disney outlet store there, so we decided to go and have a look around there, which was where, oh, it's actually stopped. I got my first Mickey sticker. So yeah, I got my first Mickey sticker of the programme, so we had a look around there, then we went back, and we were going to go and sit by the pool for a bit, but it actually started raining, so we just stood around and waited, and what did we do then? We went in for a housing meeting, and they have these like laser lights going on. I put a video that's going to come on after this. There are these laser lights going on with music and trying to make it as cool as possible. They basically just go through housing with you, what's like the acceptable things to do. This might have been the day I also got my housing ID, maybe. No, it wasn't. That's a lie, I think. No, that was today, I think. Yeah, I got it in the morning. Yeah, because me and Amy woke up super early, so we went to Walgreens in the morning, because everyone else had gone to Walmart like the first night and we didn't really want to. So I went to Walgreens in the morning, then we came back here, put all our food away, had something to eat. We then went back out again. We tried to go and get a router from front desk to get Wi-Fi, but they don't sell them at front desk anymore, so we had to wait until we go to Walmart to get that. So we went to Walgreens. We waited at front desk because the machine for housing IDs were broken, so we had to wait for those. So I now have my housing ID, which looks like this. I don't have a lanyard yet, so it just has to stay in my purse. There's my housing ID. They stretched my face out, so it's like super fat and I'm not happy about it, but it's alright, it's purple, so I'm happy. Yeah, so we got our housing IDs, then we came back here, waited for everybody else, then we went and got on bus to Commons. So then we had lunch, got our passports checked, had lunch, and then waited for the housing meeting to start. Yeah, that was... can't remember what we did. I think we just sat and listened about stuff. Yeah, so I've definitely decided that that meeting was literally just going over everything that was already in the paperwork that we technically already read before. So going through like quiet hours, what to do if you've got any issues with your roommates, telling you about the International Service Centre, so if you need facilitating with anything, they are there to help you. Yeah, that was basically just it, because it only went on for about an hour. So we finished by 4. The 3 Americans, Marley, Merritt and Christina, had already had that meeting in the morning, so they waited around for us to finish our meeting, and then we all went down to downtown Disney to go to Rainforest Cafe for dinner. And we got there at about 5. There was a 2-hour waiting for dinner, so we decided just to get a ticket and to have a wander around downtown Disney. So we took some pictures, went round World of Disney, went to the pin trading station, went to Goofy's Candy Company, went and got free chocolate. Yeah, just basically had a look at all the shops. Then we went back to Rainforest Cafe and checked in. Then we were waiting probably about, they were like 15 minutes behind, so it was about on time when we actually went through. We then got a lot of funny looks because when they shouted out our name, everyone, because it was shouted out a name, it said, it was put down as me, so it was Emma, and there was 12 of us, so they were shouting out like names and then parties, a safari of, so when they shouted out Emma safari of 12, everyone got super happy, like fist punched the air and was just shouting yes. Everyone turned around and looked at us, and then we found that really, really funny. Then when we got down, they actually had to seat us at 2 different tables, but they were still together. Then half of us got our food on time, and the other half of us were waiting, we reckon, about an hour for our food. So that wasn't great. We were really hungry by the end, but it was alright. The food was really, really nice. And then we got a volcano. I lost my voice because me and Sally kept shouting volcano every time they brought one out. And like last year, I got to keep the sparkly thing. So I have one of these, and I came up with my corkboard. So yeah, that was day 1 of orientation. So
Sally, do you want to get that stuff out just in case?
Who's actually my hair?
James. I think she might be right at the end. And no, far right.
Oh. Natalie, when you ask down, see if James
That is hot. It's horribly the same when you're like watching Indiana Jones and the fireballs in his hand and things like that.
No, it's still going strong.
Take another bit, come on.
okay, so orientation day 2. This was another. No, that's why it wasn't a late start. It wasn't like super early. We had to be at the Commons for 10 o'clock, where we needed to do a load of forms. I was quite lucky because I didn't have to fill out one of the forms because one of them was for a social security card. I already had one from last year, so I didn't need to fill out the form again, which also means I don't have to go to the appointment, which is on the 27th. And you have to get up like 6, so I don't have to go to that, so that makes me really, really happy because it either means I can go to work that day or I get the day off, or if I've got the day off already I can pick up an extra shift. So yeah, they had to fill out one of those forms. We also got a form that just had our name and our role on it, and we just had to sign it to say that everything was correct and that was what we were here to do. Then we had, before we went in, we had some guy check us to make sure that we complied with the Disney look. I really don't understand what's going on this year. A little bit annoyed because I've seen several girls with dip-dyed hair, like not even kind of, you know, oh well, it's at least it's both brown. Like there's actually a girl that's got my colour hair and she's got dip-dyed blonde. Like I don't understand how that's acceptable. And I thought that they would be told on that day, but then I've seen girls that went into traditions with their hair like that, and I don't understand why that's acceptable for them. when I had to dye my hair out. Like, that's not fair. Why is it one rule for me and then one rule for everybody, but then for them it's okay? So yeah, we just had that. He just went over what happens with jewellery if you're in food and beverage, nail polishes, piercings, tattoos, hair, and then makeup as well. So yeah, that was that. We went into the meeting, we went in, then we had to go and find our name on a piece of paper. It was in alphabetical order, so one half of the room was like A to J, and then the other half was the other half of the alphabet. So I went in, I found my name, I was sat in front of two girls that I already knew, behind two girls that I already knew. So while we were waiting for everyone to come in, we had like a little bit of a chat, and then I was sat next to a lad that was from London, so that was quite nice as well. And then there was a girl sat the other side of me that was also from England, so at least I had somebody to talk to while I was waiting. So yeah, we just had to sign off those forms, then everyone did their social security forms while I just sat there and didn't do anything. And then we had to fill in another form for immigration, recruiting, something. And we then had to fill out a W4 form, which we had to hand in at a later session. We also had a piece of paper that gave us our appointment times for the afternoon, where we'd get our training schedule, which looks like, it's a really good question. What does it look like? Hang on a second. Found it. Yeah, so this is my training schedule. This is what I got. So it says, "Welcome to entertainment." On my training schedule, I actually only got one day, because then I had to get my next bit of training schedule, which I'm not going to get it down. I'm just going to show you it. This is really difficult and I can't see. That was my training schedule that I got. That's also my half of the corkboard as well. Yeah. So, so I got to be told what my next day of training would be, even though the day after the second day of orientation was traditions, so this was going to be the day after traditions. This was going to be Friday. We also got this. This was our piece of paper to tell us what traditions class we were in, because there was a morning and an afternoon. So I got the morning one, which made me really happy because then it meant I'd get my ID, and I could go into the parks in the afternoon. I also, no, I won't tell you that, that's got nothing to do with orientation day 2, I'm skipping ahead. So yeah, I got my training schedule. She just went over that with me. At one point we had to give in onboarding paperwork. They checked your passport again, ETS 2019. I don't understand why they check it so many times, but they do. So yeah, I had to do that. Then I got tradition stuff, my training schedule, and that was pretty much it. So for most people that was the day they found out where they were working. Because of my role I just work everywhere. So yeah, that was that really. I think there was like 5-6 stations you had to go to. So you walked in to start off with, and one woman told you what you needed. So you needed your passport, your I-94, your DS 2019, your onboarding paperwork, programme guide, and your W4 form from the morning. So then you went to the first one. There was about 5 people checking everybody's documents. They gave you a plastic folder and then they put everything inside of it. You then went to this second woman who then took your folder off you, looked for your name, and gave you then she gave you your your training schedule. Then I went and stood in the line for the next one, which was where Louise from Yummy Jobs was stood. So she took a picture of 3 of us with our training schedules. I don't know what she's using it for. I haven't seen the picture yet. but hopefully I'll be able to see it soon and get a copy of it. So yeah, then we stood there, I waited in line. There was 4 podiums then, where there was 2 people to a podium. So one woman was doing all the paperwork side, checking everything. I don't know what she was checking, but you just gave her the whole plastic wallet of documents. So yeah, you gave her those, and then there was a woman discussing whether you had any questions about your training schedule, going over everything. So the woman I was with, she was called Mickey, and I found that really fun. She went over it. She actually works in entertainment, so she could help me a lot. She actually thought I'd be in on Sunday, like as my next training after this class, but she lied because I'm not in till Tuesday. But she just went over that, so she told me where I needed to go. She explained that I did need to be in business attire, that I had to take my name tag and my blue ID, that I got at Traditions, which I'd get the next day. I also needed to take photo ID if there was no picture on my ID, which there wouldn't be because I'm not here for that long. And then some money for lunch. Or I could take my own lunch in a refrigerated bag thing. She explained that I needed to get the A bus to be there like 15-20 minutes beforehand, and then just asked me if I had any questions. At that point I didn't really, I was pretty, there's not really much I needed to ask about the actual training session itself. All my questions that I had were for actual working, so I thought I'd save those for the time when I'm actually training. So yeah, once I did that, they gave me back my plastic folder again. I then went round to another queue, and at this point, this is when they took the majority of my paperwork off me. So there was 2 people at this podium. One woman was taking your paperwork, the other guy was finding you on file, and then he took your onboarding paperwork off you. You then stood in your next queue, where they checked. They were doing something on the computer, and I can't remember what it was, but they checked something. And then you stood in your final queue where they inputted a load of information, checked your passport for a final time, and then you were free to go. And any paperwork you were left with at that point, you kept. So yeah, that was orientation day 2. Once I'd finished there, Amy was in her appointment, it was at 2 o'clock and mine was at 1. So I went and sat outside for a little bit, sat by the pool, and waited for her to finish, and then we got on the bus to Walmart and went and go shopping for foods, and I spent a lot of money. Well, I didn't spend that much money. I spent less than what I did last year. I think for my first shop I spent about $90 last year, and this year I think I spent about $70. So I was really good. I was prepared with material bags and my backpack, so I was ready for, all the stuff that I was going to buy. I knew what to expect, I knew what stuff I liked, so I didn't have to just buy things and hope that it was going to be okay. I knew exactly what I was looking for, kind of knew where all the aisles were, so that made things a lot easier. And that was where I got my fabric pens. We got some push pins for the drawing board, just general felt tips for the house so we could decorate some pieces of paper and stuff. And yeah, that was what would be day 3, really. Yeah, the 12th of June. So that was orientation day 2.